Howdy, howdy, howdy. Hey y'all, how you doing? Welcome to a Nightcap. Um, Even on days when I can get off and get going early, they still seem to get ruined and I end up back here late at night, way beyond what time I want to. So, let's get this over with. Major spoiler alert. It's not a spoiler alert. I'm going to tell you in one word, I'm going to describe the Batman. The new take on Batman. I just watched it on HBO. Here it goes. One word that describes the Batman. Wait a second. Let me describe it in one words. So I'm going to use multiple words, but each one's going to be one sentence. So you can take your pick of any word to describe it, okay? The Batman. Sucks. The Batman. Boring. The Batman. Dumb. The Batman. Okay, these are multiple words now. Because I was going to say something that probably got on the channel ban. But anyway, the Batman is the worst, most boring, godforsaken movie. It's like 35 hours long. I swear to you, you can watch the trilogy of the Lord of the Rings in less time than it takes to watch that. Sully. You're awesome, Sully. I love you. Did I say that already? Let's get this over with. The Batman is the worst movie I ever saw. I mean, it may just be. I am such a geek for Batman. Batman is my original hero. And this was just the most dry, most awful, most boring, most. It was. I wanted to inflict harm to myself. I fell asleep for like 15 minutes during it. Now, I know that's kind of become a thing lately because I'm usually exhausted by the time I see movies. But, no, this was just like, please take me away. Please take me away. Please, if I could just get some sleep. Maybe I'll wake up, it'll be over with. My wife, it was over, she didn't say a word to me. She didn't say a word. And she loves Batman. Let me tell you what, she overcame her hatred for Ben Affleck to watch him. She's like, oh my gosh, those movies with Affleck as Batman were so much better movies. So much better. She's like, I came upstairs. I was like, I think I'm going to do a live stream on this. Like, I got to do something. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do. And she said, well, no, she didn't say well. She comes in to the studio. She goes, I'm going to bed. I want you to think of ways you can make up to me for making me watch that awful movie. I said, how did I make you watch it? She said, you suggested we watch it. You wanted to see it. I'm like, it's Batman. Who doesn't want to see Batman? She goes, you should have known better. Anything. You should have known better. It was all. Lord of the Rings, which is like the longest movie in history. Sure, I'll tell you what, Gone with the Wind is like the, you could have watched that in the previews. You could watch the entire movie Gone with the Wind before you'd gotten done with like halfway through Batman. The Batman. Oh. Yeah, it was in the theaters. It's on HBO Max now. Holy cow. Oh, that was a big one. Like, the whole movie, if you're a comic book movie person, which our Sully isn't. I said it because she asked the question. But if you are a comic book movie person, if you've seen The Watchmen, it's like Rorschach's diary. Okay, now I love narration in like TV shows and movies of, because kind of like, I get lost. I see something sparkly, shiny, something. Uh, SB. I don't know what SB is, Sully. I'm not very bright. I went to public schools. Um, but the Batman narration in this, when he's talking, it's like Rorschach's diary. It rains during the whole movie. So they remind me of The Crow. It was like The Crow. It was like a bad version of The Crow. That's all it was. It was like 4 times as long, bad version of The Crow, with Rorschach's diary thrown in there. Commissioner Gordon's black, but I think that's it. I really think that was. You guys correct me if I'm wrong here. I think that was Robert Downey Jr. reprising his role from Tropic Thunder, where he's a dude playing a dude playing a dude, because that wasn't a natural black guy. It was like a black guy. It was like a white guy who was trying to be black and then trying to sound like Danny Glover's character Murtaugh from Lethal Weapon. Should be Gone with the Wind. Oh, so you made me too happy. I can't talk about the Batman because you made me too happy. So, actually, you know what? I was going to talk about Alec Baldwin some because that came out. Have you seen that? Should be. Oh, hang on a second here. So just because I do have manners, and if you say yes, then hang on a second. This thing is so confusing sometimes. See here. If you want, as always, if you say yes, then we'll talk about that video you sent me, because that's a. I didn't get. I didn't see the whole thing yet. I started it. I showed my wife, and she said that you need to send a list of places to go check out. So anyway, yeah, piece of the interview. The Alec Baldwin. Watch the full thing. Now I wanted to play that on here. Actually, I was thinking about trying to start tomorrow night, but the problem is that it's on Law and Crime. And I'm not a big name like Nick Rakita, who can fight them in court. And Law and Crime likes to put on that you are stealing their content. By the way, everybody, the Batman sucked. Don't watch that movie. It was horrible. I'm trying to erase it out of my memory. I'm hoping if I take like multiple, I'm thinking take like Benadryl and like some NyQuil and some like maybe some other things together. Maybe I'll just go into like a temporary coma and wake up and like have forgotten that I saw that thing. Here we are to interview. All right, well I'm gonna go to this interview because I've got it up. So the one at Law and Crime, I'm not gonna play it because, like I said, they get testy over there. But this is the body cam footage. And it's 34 minutes. The full interview is like 35 minutes. I have no idea what this is. I've not seen this. I just know that it's not watermarked and protected like the other. Law and Crime is they're awful people. And they filed a formal copyright strike to a bunch of people that were streaming from a live stream they had in court. I mean, it was like, this is public information. The Alec Baldwin interview is public information. Just because they have their watermark on it doesn't mean they own it. They have no content to it, but they're watermarked. They're not saying anything, not doing anything. I don't know why there's no other releases to it. Somehow they're getting in first. Well, they had the money to. That's what it boils down to. They had the money, and they're able to get in there to these places like like the sheriff's department, and they get this and they watermark it and they put it up, and then every time anyone talks about it, they do a copyright strike. This one is the body camera footage with no copyright stuff that I know of. So let's just go ahead and do this.
Just sign an initial, and then if you read the bottom and agree to talk to us,
Initial
sign.
each of them.
As you understand them, yes.
Yeah, so first one, you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say may be used against you in court or other proceedings.
All right.
You have the right.
That's where you stop. That is where you stop. You have the right to remain silent. Baldwin needs to just go with that. It's like, okay. Because here's the thing. And this was, I watched Rakita last night, went over this with AK Guy. And, Wheel of Names. Oh, that's cool. Okay, so, Rakita Law went over it. And he was, it's my thing exactly. I've always said this. Don't ever talk to the police, right? But it's like, this is the prime example of what not to talk to the police. And they both, him and AK Guy both said this. Here's the thing. Your adrenaline is really pumped. Okay? You've been involved in shooting. A human being has lost their life. You have no idea what that will do to you. You may feel fine and think you're fine and say you're fine and all this stuff, but you don't know you are. It's like they were talking about with the Johnny Depp case. Amber saying that she has PTSD. And the psychologist got on there. She started explaining PTSD. There's no one way to really describe or identify PTSD. You kind of have to. There's a bunch of traits associated with it before you can properly be diagnosed with it. And sometimes you won't even know you have it until something's a triggering effect. Well, that's how this is. I mean, there's nobody in the world's not going to think that being involved in a shooting is a horrendous thing to your psyche. To normal people. I think what you'll see here is somebody who is so... This is a way better video than I saw. I don't know. I'd like to see what other videos are out there. But anyway, this is such a thing to your psyche. I mean, this guy, I can tell you right now, by him not asking for legal representation, he's already not normal. He thinks, no, man, I'm Alec Baldwin. I am super actor, super cool guy. I can do anything. Because that's just what he knows. I mean, he's never been told he's wrong. He's never been told no. I mean, you can tell it from his attitude. He gets in fight with paparazzi or the guy in front of him at the Ben & Jerry's. I mean, the guy's got some issues. But here's the thing. He's in this little room, which I love. They have all the black soundproofing on here. But anyway, he's in there, and there's two chicks, right? So... Man, what an idiot. He's probably sitting there thinking to himself, oh, this is easy. I can talk to women. I can do this piece of cake. I got a feeling these chicks could tear him apart. So anyway, let me just hit play. I'll stop talking now.
Right to consult with an attorney before making any statement or answering any questions, and you may have him or her present with you during questioning. You may have an attorney appointed to you to represent.
You may have him or her there during questioning. Why don't you just say you could have them? Right? That's inclusive for everybody. You don't have to say him and her, because there shouldn't be that anyway. Sorry, it's a language thing I have issues with. But anyway, look at Baldwin though. Man, I paused that right there perfectly. That looks like Nick Nolte, which everybody knows Nick Nolte does not look good. Or is that Gary Busey? Either one. They do not look good. This looks like the guy that's asking, he comes up to you, he smells like hooch juice, and he's asking you for $1 so he can make a long distance call. But you know what he's doing. He just wants to go back over to the liquor store.
If you cannot afford one or otherwise obtain one. If you decide to answer any questions now with or without a lawyer, you have the right to stop questioning at any time, or to stop questioning for the purpose of consulting a lawyer.
So my only question is, am I being charged with something?
No, we're just interviewing.
I thought that's what I'm not worried because I'm not,
We have to do our job at
I'm not worried. That's the first one.
advising you your rights because this is an investigation.
Look, time and time again in these things, I always hear people say, when you deal with somebody, and I'm not saying this about Alec Baldwin, okay, but like you'll see like these. Oh gosh, I wish I could remember. It's like the psychology of a criminal or something like that. It's a YouTube channel. The guy does a great breakdown. It's like, here's the thing. These people think they're smarter than the cops. I mean, look at Ted Bundy. That guy thought he was smarter than everybody. There's a narcissist factor in this.
Just the formality. You have to do it. You're here. I appreciate it.
What is today?
It is the 21st of October.
Oh.
That's Tennessee, Alabama
Long day?
weekend, isn't it?
Well, what's interesting, not to
BUC.
digress on some commentary here, is that we've done this for 2 weeks and we did it the right way every day. Every day. You're on a set, you rehearse, they bring you what's called a cold gun.
Did they ask a question? Did they ask anything?
Well, what's interesting, not to digress on some commentary here, is that what is today?
It is the 21st of October.
What is today?
Well, I
It
touched
is
on
the
that.
21st of October.
Okay.
Oh.
Long day?
Long day?
Well, what's interesting, not to digress on some commentary here, is that we've done this for 2 weeks and we did it.
Wow. They had just, all she asked was long day. She said long day, and he goes straight into this. Oh my gosh, dude. So, like, here's the thing. We know he killed her. Okay? There's no doubt about that. The thing is he criminal liable, right? And we're all looking at, okay, there's the 4 elements of, oh man, did she cut off, or I think I lost my internet. All right, so there's 4 elements of, gosh, I'm tired. I can't remember what I was going to with it. You'd be charged under 4 different things. It's negligent, reckless, intentional. What's the other one? Boy, it is a long day, guys. I really did. I'm losing my brain. So we're looking at, is this reckless or is this negligent? Because like negligent homicide has a certain, like, so like negligent homicide may be a 3 to 5 year thing. Reckless homicide might be 5 to 7 years, we'll say. The difference is you have to look at, you'll break down the elements. There's elements for negligence and there's elements for reckless. Okay. And so we hear something that's like a class A felony or class B felony, class C, class D. So like those would be like, what they are. Were you reckless? Was it negligent? Was it intentional? Was it, what is the 4th one? Golly, I'm losing it. You guys really should. Look, I'm the expert of nothing, and you guys should. He's very calm for killing a person. Thank you so much, Fallstorm. Right? I mean, he is right into it. He has worked this out in his mind beforehand, and he's answering this so he can control the questions.
The right way every day. Every day. You're on a set, you rehearse, they bring you what's called a cold gun. The gun is either completely empty, the chambers, or there is a cosmetic piece. So for example, if you're the camera, and this is going to sound silly and specific, but if I'm pointing the gun close to the camera, you want to see into the cylinder. But there's material in there, cosmetic material. So those rounds are cosmetic rounds. Right. They put them in, and you rehearse, or even in a shot when you don't fire. They pull the gun up, and you see there's some material inside the cylinder. They'd hand me a cold gun, no charges. They always hand you a cold gun with nothing.
They haven't asked any questions.
And then, when you shoot, and if you are shooting loads that are flash loads, and they're usually in 3 denominations, quarter, half, or full load rounds, so that the flash is bright, and the sound is loud, louder, loudest. Full load is loudest. So if you're outside, you want a full load bang, you want a loud sound. If you're inside, you can do a quarter load. right before you shoot, everyone preps, crew puts the earplugs in, so put headphones on. The camera's there. Very often there's a loose sight screen. But
Not
you're
a
the
question
camera operator,
asked.
and there's the camera, so I should always shoot off camera. You never shoot into the lens. And you shoot, and there's a flash and a sound. Now, I went to lunch. She disarmed me. I sat down.
She being,
Yeah.
Hannah, the armaments person. She was always handled the guns 99% of the time. So I would, if I had a cosmetic rifle with no rounds, I'd hand it to one of her assistants.
Okay, that Hannah person, I did hear this. So Hannah, the armor, okay, so like she's the daughter of like the guy you want, right? Like the armor guy. She's, I don't know, this guy's been doing it for 20 years, something like that. Here's his daughter. And I think what I heard was like in an interview or something, she's like, oh no, I'm completely self-taught. She wanted to be self-taught. Dude, that's the stupidest thing in the world. It's like your dad is the expert. He's the one that you want to be taught by. That's like someone getting into the business, they want to learn from him. Now, she's like, oh no, I'm all self-taught, whatever. It's like, okay, you're dumb. Like, you just really you screwed yourself now. And I think that was in the interview after this happened.
I'm sitting there, she disarms me, we go to lunch, we come back to lunch, and they hand me the revolver, the Colt.
and I just like so
Her.
name, it's
Hannah.
Hannah again.
They arm me,
Okay.
and you're assuming, as we've done every time, that it's a cold gun for the rehearsal. And I put the gag in the shot, you're the camera, because I have a coat, and I have a holster, and I pull the coat over, and I kind of cup my hands like I folded my hands. And then I'm going to slowly sneak the revolver, the Colt out, and turn and shoot these other guys, or try to shoot them. I take the coat over the thing, I know the camera's there. I believe, my recollection is she was there, turned a bit, like talking to him. So I think she was hitting the right armpit. But this is all I know, and that is that I take the gun out.
Wait, did he just say she was hitting the right armpit? She being the chick that's dead? I mean, this is so weird to me. Like, I can't believe this. Like, how did you find that out? How do you know? I mean, I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I do know what I'm trying to say, but there's a lot of, I can answer a lot of it myself. It's like, well, you say, well, he was there, or he saw it. I'm going to take it. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how to describe the role that I'm thinking of that I'm playing right now. It's like I'm defending him. I just realized, but I don't know why. I guess like I'm defending him to show like he's not what he's saying is not what you would say. I mean, it's not. How do you know specifically like she was shot in the right armpit? Because then I'm gonna ask, well, okay, did you talk to somebody about this? Do you know this for sure? And he, or did you stick the gun up there to her armpit? And I don't know.
In the rehearsal, where he wants it very dramatic and very sudden, kind of sneak up on them. I take the gun out, and as it clears, as the barrel clears the hole, turn and cock the gun over here. I turn and cock the gun goes off.
Okay.
It's supposed to be a cold gun. Nothing. No flash charges, nothing. Now,
Very astute.
this is the puzzle to me, and this is making me very emotional now. In my time, and I'm older now, but when I was younger and I was shooting guns in films, I've never seen a theatrical flash round with the material went through someone's armpit, came out their body, and hit somebody else in the shoulder.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if your department is prepared to go find out what comes out of his shoulder surgically. Is that a live round?
That's what we are actually.
That is so specific. Remember, this is the day this happened, right? The day or the morning after, I forget what it was, but he's like, are you prepared as your department? Like, is he putting them down there a little bit? Is your department prepared to do this? It's like, he's leading them. This is exactly like how his ABC interview went. He's leading to where he wants the questions to be. This is also the characteristic of a narcissistic I hate to say the words because you don't know what's gonna do the trigger the stuff in the tubes, but it's like again just very very Ted Bundy ish. And by the way, I think it was on Netflix. Maybe was the Ted Bundy movie. It's got the Zac Efron plays him. Zac Efron is an awesome actor. Yeah, there you go. I said it, and I didn't like the Batman.
Looking
Is that a lot? Because it doesn't make any sense otherwise.
Yeah,
It's her in the
and
armpit, comes out her shoulder, goes into his shoulder, and he just told me on the phone, I talked to Joe. He said, they showed me the x-ray, and the shape of the thing in my shoulder is the shape of a bullet. Now, all the rounds, I was told, you need to verify, I think this is important, they take the gun, they empty the gun, and all the rounds that are in there were either dummy rounds, no flash, cold rounds, or rounds with a flash. In the rehearsal, there should have been nothing. It should have been a cold gun with no rounds inside.
How does he know so much about the gun?
Cosmetic rounds. No flash. I take the gun out slowly, I cock the pistol, bang, it goes up, she hits the ground. She goes
Does
down.
he know this much about how the cameras work?
He goes down, screaming. He said,
How the
Jesus,
sound
what are you
guys
doing?"
work?
And I thought that maybe sometimes the wadding can come out if you're close and you get a burn. Two actors who killed themselves with guns, with theatrical guns, John Eric Hexum and Brandon Lee, they put the live round in, and I'm told even with the flash powder, you can cause contusions and you can do a brain bleed and die, which both of them died.
right.
I think with Brandon Lee, there was a piece of material lodged in the thing that shot from something.
Yeah.
I don't remember vividly, but my point is, I've been doing
You
this.
had to look
I shot enough guns in my day in movies. I've never seen this before. Or a flash round. But from my understanding is, may I borrow your pen for a
Of
minute?
course, you can even borrow
Maybe,
my
my understanding is that
Draw it out.
in a bullet, here's the thing with the pin, and here's the bullet itself. And now here, when you have a cosmetic round, no flash, no nothing, they drill a hole in the side of the brass to signify that it's a cosmetic round. There's nothing in there. There's no powder. But when you have a flash round, and there's stuff in there, wadding and powder to make the charge. This material here, that is the bullet, is made of a clay or some material that just disintegrates. So what you have is bang, and you see the flash go bang, and you hear the sound, but nothing, there's no projectile. And what I'm curious about is what came out of that bullet that went through her body and into his shoulder?
That's pretty powerful.
I don't know.
bullet
I've
did.
never heard of it. Now, some people say you can lodge material in the barrel accidentally, a rock, something, that
Yeah,
happens.
it was a bullet though.
Which is why every time we've done this, I'm here to tell you, to testify that every time we've done this, she's done it right. She cleaned the barrel, made sure nothing was lodged in there. We went hot when
How do you
yours
know?
announced, going hot. Crew gets ready. And then all of a sudden, you're the camera, and I shoot away from you. I sit there and like, bang, 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 and flashes are coming out, and we shoot the rounds.
Did he shoot
She
this
cleans
movie?
the barrel every time, and she checks that the rounds are all cosmetic.
How many rounds did he
or nothing
shoot
in the chamber for the rehearsal.
during the filming
She
of
hands
the
me the
movie?
gun. I'm assuming she's done it the right way. She's done it the last 2 weeks. I put it in the holster. I pull it out slow. We're rehearsing. We're not filming anything. I pull it out slow, turn, cock the pistol, bang, it goes up, and she hits the ground.
Okay,
And then he starts screaming.
real quick. Let me see here. Can you see that you're trying to verify this? Yeah, I would think it would, the actor's job, yes. Or it's not the actor's job, I mean, yeah. Yeah, okay, Fall Storm's got a point here. Those guys, let's face it, nobody thinks of Hollywood actors as being Mensa members. Okay? So, matter of fact, insurance is going to make that. You're going to have a professional that does that. And your insurance policy on the film is going to make you do that. You're not going to an actor's not going to take that responsibility. Now, if you're an actor, would you ask to make sure, like, hey, before I pull that out, I want to make sure it's like this. Yeah, I would, right? That's easy to say that. But after all these movies and stuff, mistakes happen. You don't think about it. You get lazy. However, they haven't asked Alec Baldwin a question. He is answering everything. I mean, he is just spilling his guts out. And I think it's weird. So can you imagine how nerve-wracking this interview is for her? Oh, yeah. Let's see here. Yeah, she's from New Mexico. She's like, this is a big movie star.
And I'm thinking, in a flash round, I could see maybe if there was wadding or there's some stuff like that that's hot, and maybe it hit you and burns you.
Wait a second. Now, I remember I want to show something here real quick. I've got a... So, that is from the film. That's what was being filmed. So, Alec just said he pulled it out and went bang. That is... He said he didn't have his finger on the trigger or anything. He did have his finger on the trigger. So he says he didn't. He clearly did. So then it's, again, this is why he shouldn't be talking to him. He just shouldn't be talking to him. But of course, he probably knows that he has his finger on the trigger. I'm just assuming. I'm speculating. If he knows he has, because he could not know. I mean, it's just a muscle reaction thing. It's like, I don't know, just something you do 100 times. How do you tie a shoelace? You know how to tie one, but can you describe how to do it? Do you know how to ride a bicycle? Can you describe how to balance yourself on a bicycle? So even though you do it, doesn't mean you necessarily know how to explain it to somebody. So maybe like that's how this is with him. But the thing is that he did do that. He did have his finger on the trigger. And he's I don't know. It's just weird how he's kind of going into it. So like he's trying to, it's almost like he knew, I'm speculating that he knew he had his finger on the trigger. He knew that, and what he's trying to do now is before that footage gets out, is that he's trying to say it just went off. And that's going to be his defense. Why? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what's in their brains, their thought processes. Think clearly. Oh yes, yeah. That's exactly it. That's what Rakita and AK guy were talking about last night. You have someone who's thinking clearly. Like, I mean, come on, listen to me. I can't even talk clearly in this. I'm stuck. Oh my gosh, I just got stuck underneath my desk because I couldn't get traction in my feet. I've got my desk. I've got an elevated desk. Like, I could be standing up right now. I thought I really wanted that, and I haven't stood up once. What I do is I take my chair and I raise it all the way up. And I couldn't get the traction. I needed to scoot my chair back. God, I felt like a turtle for a second. Yes, so you're right. He did say his finger was straight and that he did not pull the trigger. So that's what I'm saying. Like, does he know that he did it and he's trying to, set that narrative that to him it was an accident? And Volstorm is 100% right. It's not about guilt. It's about thinking clearly. And he's just, you don't think clearly in this situation.
I said sometimes that happens. But remember, we're rehearsing, so no one's protected.
So it's all supposed to be this one, cosmetic one.
Or nothing.
Or nothing.
For the rehearsal, the gun is normally empty.
Mm-hmm.
But my point is that they were standing in positions they wouldn't ordinarily be in because they assumed it was an empty, cold gun. We weren't shooting, we were rehearsing. That's a vital difference. So if she's here, if the camera's here, and she's standing here talking to the guy, and I'm on a bench here, and Joel's behind her, and this is not proportionate because obviously the camera's not as big as her body, and I draw the gun slowly and aim off camera, and there's supposed to be nothing in there. So she's not protecting herself and standing off. I'm shooting in a direction, and everybody is supposed to be to that side of the camera. There's nobody in my line. Nobody. And so when I shoot the gun, so when the rehearsal, I'm assuming I have an empty gun, and the gun goes off, she's right in front of me. Mm-hmm. She's as far from me as I am from a difference between maybe you and the door.
Okay, so pretty close proximity.
It was a very tight shot.
Okay.
The shot was here, of me, not of me, it's of me pulling the gun slowly, turn cock.
Okay.
And she's right there, vulnerable, in a position she wouldn't ordinarily be if we were shooting, and this thing, boom, she hits the ground.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna back you up just a little bit, okay? How long have you been on set?
First
I
question.
arrived Monday the 11th
Okay.
and started my fittings, and they already were shooting the week
I do
before.
too.
And the 11th of October?
Monday the 11th, I flew in from New York. I flew from New York to Denver, Denver to Albuquerque, because there are no direct flights here, and then drove from Albuquerque to here.
Okay.
Rehearsed and fitted and did all my preparatory stuff.
But that was in October, correct?
That was Tuesday the 12th, yeah. I flew on the 11th, rehearsed on the 12th, started shooting the 13th, Wednesday the 13th. That's what we shoot.
Okay.
We shoot a Wednesday through Sunday schedule. We're off Monday, Tuesday.
So the entire time you've been on set, have you seen the same armorer
And her
working with
crew,
you guys?
Everybody.
How many people are on her crew?
My guess is that what I witnessed is 3,
Okay.
all young women. Hannah and 2 other women.
All right.
And very often they're tasked with me.
All young
because when I'm
chicks,
shooting
hot,
every
young
day,
hot chicks with
There's
guns.
no armaments every day. They dress me with my holster.
They
my
dress
knife.
me.
The film is set in 1888, so I'm armed with the classic weaponry of the cowboy era.
Okay.
And so they would make sure I was dressed properly. You know, 80,
Pull my pants
85%
up.
of their task is to make sure I'm dressed with everything properly.
The armorers?
The
Or
armorers-
just,
Well, the armorers, wardrobe doesn't necessarily, they sometimes trade back and forth, but wardrobe doesn't necessarily deal with my holster
okay.
and the knife, because that's a prop. The armorer, Hannah, and her team, they dealt with me being knifed and that being lashed properly, so it looks proper,
Okay.
and the holster.
Okay.
So it was
And
wardrobe as much as it was props, as much as it was armaments.
do you know Hannah's last name?
No.
Do you know what she looks like? Or can you describe what she looks like?
Multicolored hair, glasses,
Public information.
you know, not too tall. Everyone knows her pretty well because her
Because law and
father's a
crime,
very
these cucks
famous
won't let
armaments
us
guy.
play
He's
their
got
stuff.
guns in movies for decades. He's very well known.
Okay.
She's the daughter of this famous gun guy, movie gun guy.
And what about the other girls in her
I don't
crew?
remember their names.
Okay. Do you know what they look like?
A blonde, thin, not too short, you know, kind of medium height, and brunette, somewhat on the shorter side, maybe the same height as Hannah, brunette, and also you go back and forth between, they're wearing a mask most of the time on set. They go
Right.
in order to do that. But I've seen them with their masks off.
Okay. All right. What time did you guys start today?
Is that all you've seen them with off?
I don't know what time they started. I came in slightly later because they had a couple of shots without me in the morning, so I came in at, I guess I arrived there at like about 7:45.
Okay.
Normally I'm there at like 6:30.
All right. And then anything abnormal in the day? Who handed, or should I say, who handed you
6:30.
your weapon in the day?
Hannah
To
Hannah did. Okay.
7:45,
And
say.
physically handed or put it in the holster?
handed it to me.
Okay.
She would show me the gun,
Okay.
or she'd say, cold gun. She'd say, test it, or some language to indicate, as she handed me the gun, that it was fine. And she'd say, do you want to check?
Okay.
And I always didn't want to insult her. I said, because we never had a problem.
Yeah.
And I said, oh, I'm good. So, and the first AD very often will ask, periodically, he'll say, let me check.
Okay.
And they'll have 2 people check for this very reason, that we don't have any, forget about live rounds of bullets, that we have any flash rounds in the gun while we're rehearsing. Because if someone wants to indicate, and they're not thinking, they pull the trigger on the gun, you just hear the hammer, the dead sound of the hammer hitting, and you have no flash rounds at all in there for the rehearsal. The rehearsal gun
For an anti-gun guy, he really does describe this stuff in autistic detail, doesn't he?
should be empty.
Okay.
And as I said, for the 2 weeks I've been shooting, it has been empty. We haven't had one problem.
And you have you physically checked that, or just by her telling
She
you?
announces to me that it's clean.
Okay.
She'll say, cold gun, we rehearse.
Cold
Then
gun.
when she's done, she takes the gun, goes off to a corner. She has a kit, like a zip fanny pack with her elements in there. She
Fanny
puts the
pack.
flash rounds in there. She'll say, quarter load, but it's a lower sound. Or she'll say full load. And if I'm shooting, if you're the crew and you're shooting me close, even if I said the full load, it is rather loud. It's very loud.
Okay.
She's always announcing what's going to happen.
All
She's
right.
been very good about that.
So have you guys, backtracking a little bit on this, because she's telling you what's in these guns,
100%.
have you guys been practicing with those quarter loads, the full loads, all that through the past couple weeks? Or have you shot with them?
I came in on Tuesday, that's what I did Tuesday.
Okay.
The 12th. I came to the ranch, rode the horse,
I rode the
I just
horse.
got used to that, and because they have a double who really rides in the distance really fast, and all the athleticism you see me on the horse, and they could do a watch out of another guy riding was a horseman.
Okay.
You're quite a crew of men.
So today was not the first day that,
No, I shot on Tuesday the 12th with the Henry, the lever, arm action lever, the lever action rifle,
okay,
and the pistol. I just shot both.
okay. And,
The
all right,
lever.
moving back forward, what time did you guys break for lunch today?
Usually, I think today we broke at 12:30.
Okay.
So it's today. This is the day of.
And who took the weapon at that time? Physically took it
Always
from you?
does. Rarely do the other ladies, the two other women, handle the pistol that's live shooting in the scene. As I said, I have the Henry in my hand as a prop. I'd be running through the scene, but no bullets, nothing. When they say cut, I could hand it to the blonde girl.
Okay,
Okay, but whenever we were interacting with somebody where rounds were gonna go in the gun, you would have flash rounds in the scene. We shot flash rounds, it was only Hannah.
okay,
Only. With her fanny pack with the rounds in there. her
fanny pack.
equipment.
okay. Do you know what time you guys got back from lunch?
My guess it was 1:30 by the time we all got back to the set up. There's a base camp, and there's the set. So we go to the base camp for lunch, then we was to drive back, get their wardrobe touched up, get their hair touched up and makeup, whatever we do, and then we're on set. We put about an hour before we were back on the set.
Okay. And was Hannah the one to physically hand you the gun at that
Yes.
point? Okay. During the time that you had it, was it ever handed off to anybody else? Okay.
No, I had it. I had it and I stroked it. I was like, today's the day. We take
Did you
right
see where she got the gun from?
No,
Okay.
she has a station somewhere with all her stuff,
Okay.
the elements and a gun, and a couple different guns. Guns for the other actors in this, she handles all the guns.
Dragon
Is
Man,
anybody else allowed in that area?
Dragon Man.
I don't know, but I know that on this, I've never seen anything that was out of the ordinary. She has like sometimes they have a cart, like almost like you would use like a hospital catering. There's like a big plastic tray, a dark plastic tray,
Okay.
with 2 levels and wheels. I think that's what she has, but many of the departments have that. And on that tray would be her, or something like that. I don't recall what exactly hers was like. But they have a station that they bring to the set.
Okay.
For her to put all of her stuff. And if the weather is cooperative, and sometimes they put it under a tent if it looks like it might rain or anything to damage the
Put
property.
it under a tent.
But she has a little place she would go to. And I think she has a truck where she stores it. When they wrap, everything goes into a truck and she takes off with it. It's her responsibility to secure
Dragon Man, I've
Everything
already
in
said
there?
this.
Okay.
it's a real gun. It's a real gun.
Dude, it's so true. Ballstorm hit it perfectly. I'm going to have to go back. I'm going to find his exact quote because it was so. It was everything I was trying to say. You bring a lawyer to. There it is. You bring a lawyer to have someone that's thinking clearly with you. It's not about guilt. That's the whole key to it, man. Yeah, that's what Rakita and I don't like this Hollywood creep. Yeah, well, it's kind of creepy. This is the day of. Okay, this is that night. I mean, okay, so he's saying he got there at 6:30 to 7:45 that morning. He's killed somebody, and now he's in the police interview room. And it's at least 12 hours. He's usually back at his hotel room watching Jeopardy by now. He's very hyped up.
Can you actually describe the gun to me?
It's a Colt, a period Colt. In our emails back and forth when we were prepping the film, she showed me just a couple different styles of guns. This is not a big budget movie, so we didn't have a lot of choices. She showed you 3 or 4 choices. I said, give me the biggest gun you've got.
Okay.
Give me the biggest gun you got, I'm gonna kill somebody with it.
She showed me different guns by email and different knives by email. Cruder knives that were made, like someone fashioned the handle out of like elkhorn or things like that. I took a traditional
Exactly.
knife, a leather strap, a handle. We went back and forth about the holster and the material, and we just had a relatively brief conversation. I'm having made a lot of movies, I know how not to stress them out about the budget. when she shows me something, I try to make that work. And so she showed me, I said, just give me the big Colt, we were done. And then
Okay.
on that Tuesday, the 12th, I came and shot that gun.
Okay. What color is it?
I believe it's a brown handle, because she showed me two of the larger Colts. One had a cherry-colored handle, and one had a brown handle, and I chose the brown handle.
You didn't want the cherry.
I could show you my emails in my phone. I didn't want the cherry, it was too shiny.
Ah, okay.
That character's a little bit in the retirement side of his career, so
Ah,
he's a retired bank robber.
I'd say out in the Wild West, cherry might not be.
Let's see here real quick. Let me go back here. Check out Off the Cuff with Bill Cannon. He looks at this too. I've not heard of Off the Cuff, but I will check that out. So, but before I forget this, let me go back over here real quick. Okay. Oh, I thought we could see the end of the pistol here. I was gonna say, so like a Colt single action army. This is the gun that the cavalry. That's why it's called the single action army. It was the U.S. Army cavalry adopted this, and 45 long Colt, and the actual original single action army was for the cavalry. I believe it was a 7 3/4. It's a meal, 3/4 of an inch or 7 1/4 inch barrel. Then you got like a 5.5 inch barrel, and you got a 4 3/4 inch barrel. Now, I don't know the dates on when those became popular, but I do know the long barrel version. That's what Wyatt Earp had at the OK Corral.
That.
Well, you always have people in films, I mean, they go to an extensive extent, you wouldn't believe some films if they have the budget, the details you go into. Of all the things you wear, jewelry, hats, watches, guns, cars, I mean, there's, people sit down, I mean, I've made a lot of films, and the films that have bigger budgets, you could spend a whole week going to rehearsal, reading with the director. The writer goes and rewrites, they listen to how the dialogue sounds, and then once you're done rehearsing the text with the director, the producers, and the writer, when you're done reading, they'll go make amendments. Like when they hear it come out of your mouth, they go, let's change that line. The way Bob says that, and then they go, then you go right to wardrobe, props, you go do a lot of stuff.
Okay.
Lots of
All right, so you get back from lunch, get ready. She hands you the gun. Was this inside or outside?
We're inside the church
Okay.
set.
And was it the first rehearsal that the incident happened?
Yeah, I believe so, because we talked about, as we were going to lunch, we're always talking about what's next.
Okay.
So as we were rehearsing scenes,
And next,
he said,
next
now
we
I
go
want to do a
church and
scene
kill somebody.
where we've done other shots before lunch. He said, when we come back from lunch, we'll do this. And he said, well, show me. Because I was showing you what I thought was the best angle, to see the glint of the gun under my coat. Because you want the scene to work, the shot to work. So where the holster's here, the gun is here, my coat comes around, and I held my hand like it was like I was just cupping my hands, like I was just resting.
Okay.
And I showed him in the rehearsal. So when we came back after lunch, we rehearsed for the camera, and I took the gun out I'm showing him, I'm going to go like this, like this, like this, cock and turn, bang, it went off. The first time.
Okay, so it was your
The
first time after
very first
lunch?
time that we were shooting that shot, that we were rehearsing for that shot,
Okay.
that camera shot.
And you may, if you don't know, that's
One
fine.
of the double action
Did you
is to
happen to see, so obviously you guys
have it
left
double
from
action.
your upper shooting area to go have lunch? Or did you eat lunch up there?
No, we always go back to the base camp for lunch.
Okay.
For the stage. Yeah.
Did the armorers, or did you see the armorers go down?
No,
No.
nor would I.
Okay. Makes
But once
sense.
they're gone, I'm gone.
Okay.
Do people stay up on set, or does everybody go down?
Well, there are many people who will forego lunch.
Okay.
I take that back, not many. There are some who will forego lunch because they have work to do.
Okay.
Someone will hold them a plate, they'll bring their own lunch, many people, they
He
make
has all the
sacrifices
details
because
about
of their
lunch, doesn't
pride
he?
for their department. They may sit there and say, I think I need to paint that wall and touch up that wall. I think I need to distress those boots. They all have work to do. And very often, a small number of people will stay up top.
That
while we
sums
drive
it
down
up,
from the
dude.
set to the base
That
camp.
sums
The
it up right
caterers
there.
are in need, but maybe a modest number of people stay up there.
Okay. All right, and then I just want to clarify really, I know you were drawing something. All right, so when you had pulled out the gun, obviously you were not at the cameraman, but you had identified there were two people there. Can you tell me who those people were?
My recollection is that the operator was there. He's a Steadicam operator.
Okay,
He's a man who, there's either a camera on sticks that's stationary,
Okay.
or there's a man who operates a Steadicam that moves. The camera operator was there behind the camera, and she was to his right.
and who is she? That's the one I'm asking about.
Helena, the cinematographer,
Okay,
the camera director.
and she was right next to the cameraman.
She
woman
was to
I
his
shot.
right, to my left.
And who was behind her?
Joel,
The director.
And he
the
is,
director of the movie.
okay. Can you recall who exactly was inside at the time of the
No.
incident? Or anyone else that you can?
Halls,
Okay,
the first AD, he's in charge of the crew. The first assistant director
I love
is the
you,
man who's
Sully.
like the foreman of the set. He's in charge of all the grips, all the crew.
okay.
Electric, cable.
Do you know his name?
Dave Halls.
Okay, that's Dave. Got it.
Dave Halls is always there. Helena, Joel, me, the operator, an assistant camera person, the script supervisor, a woman who sits in the corner in some strategic position. to take
The woman
notes
that
on
sits
all
in
the
the
action
corner
of
in
the
a
tape.
strategic
So you can
position.
watch. If one day you're doing a scene and you sit there and go, what is your first name?
Samantha.
Samantha, you know, it's really important that you and I get together and talk about that case. You drank, when did you, she makes notes, so we match every take. That's called continuity.
becoming everybody's
The woman who does continuity, she's always there
thoughts.
watching, she was in the room.
Okay,
She's an older woman, like in her 60s, maybe with,
Yep.
that colored blonde hair, maybe, or brown hair. But I forget her name now, but so there's a group of people that are always there for every shot, even if you're in a kind of a cramped interior. This set of this church is not large, so then the rest of the crew's outside.
I think
And
so.
outside was a limited number of people, maybe 8, 9, I don't remember. But I know that every time we do a shot, those people are always on the set.
Samantha.
Camera,
You know, my
assistant
wife's in New
camera,
York.
cinematographer, director, first AD.
She thinks
script.
she is.
okay.
Mexican.
So not too many.
Very few.
Do you think that any part of this incident that occurred was intentional?
I can only say this, which is, and it was, to me,
What?
to place a bullet and position a bullet that is a live round.
Wait, I'm pausing this right now. Think about what she just said. Do you think there's any part of this that was intentional? You need to choose your next words very wisely. And remember, these are going to be your words. Again, why do you have an attorney present? Because you didn't say it. Your attorney said that. The cops can ask you anything. They can ask you, did you hate the chick you killed? I mean, if an attorney says, no, why would he hate somebody? And then he could be sitting over there thinking to himself, yeah, I hate her. You know, but I mean, now he's on the line. Now he's on the line. This is the weirdest thing. Do you think any of this was intentional? His next words are going to be probably the most important words we've heard. And by the way, I have not done this. I watched like Rakita. I watched most of it. I just mostly was watching because I'm a big fan of AK guy. And I didn't even finish it. So anyway, here we go.
To make sure that that bullet is in the chamber, if I were to squeeze the trigger in a rehearsal, that bullet came out, someone has to have extraordinary access to that weaponry to do that. I can't imagine somebody walked around with a round that was a .45 caliber round. See, other people on the set were speculating that if it was a .45 caliber round, she'd be dead. It would have blown a big hole in her. And so we're wondering, was the projectile that went in her some foreign material stuck, and it was an accident, it was a flash round, and something came out of the barrel. They didn't check. They always check. But
to your experience with these
I've
armorers
never heard
and
anything like this in my life, ever.
okay,
I've never heard of a projectile coming out of a prop gun that went through a person's body, and regardless of her being a smaller woman. The bullet went in here, I'm told, went in here, came out here, her shoulder or whatever, and went into his body and buried it. I've never heard of that in my life. I don't know of any projectile in a gun, in a flash prop gun that could accomplish that. Now, if somebody
Real
put a
bullet.
live round in there accidentally, see, a very important question for Hannah is, have you ever pulled live rounds
there
with
it is.
theatrical rounds in your kit? Because they're forbidden to do that. According to, I think, the union rules and the safety rules for all the unions, you're not allowed to do that because of the fear of what would happen that you commingle. So whether someone accidentally, and I can't even imagine this, deliberately placed a live round in that gun, I've never heard of that in my life. And I don't know anything about what happened, but all I know is when I, see the other thing about this is, in a live round, you'd have a recoil, usually. When I shot that gun and it went off, I didn't shoot it when it went off.
Right?
I didn't intend for it for what happened to happen. When that happens is, I'm always told, but because I'm not a gun person, I don't have a gun. They've always told
Oh,
me
you
they
know
ask
a
me
lot
to
about.
simulate the
I'm not a
recoil.
gun person. What I say earlier, for a guy who does not, who's anti-gun and whatnot, I mean, he's going to autistic detail about this firearm. I'm not a gun person. I don't know anything about guns. I love how he says he's not a gun person. I bet you anything, he probably has a gun collection that it would make gun guys drool and gals drool over. You know, and he's sitting there, oh no, we didn't ban guns and stuff. Golly, dude, I'm not a gun
I
guy.
shoot the Colt, which is a big gun, 45 caliber bullet. They always teach me when we should be go action. I go, get back here, boom, and they make me take my hand and go boom and have the kick, because there's no kick in a flash round.
Okay.
And when this happened, I don't recall there being any kick either. That's important.
Okay. Are you, I know you said you don't own a gun, but are you experienced with shooting guns?
Only as much as actors have to be experienced.
Okay.
Only as much as actors have to be experienced. Holy cow. There is something so skeezy about this, right? Do you guys feel uncomfortable? It's like you're sitting there going, man, you're about as fresh as yesterday's milk left out on the counter for a cat.
Which is normally not real
Well, I mean,
bullets.
if you do a movie, safety with weapons is primary. You go off with people. You go off with armaments people to ranges. I've gone to ranges in Arizona where we shot a lot of guns in a movie many years ago, and you go to a range and you shoot for a few hours, and they teach you how to shoot shotguns, Walther.
I remember that's
different,
pterodactyl.
small guns, James Bond guns, big guns, Uzis, machine guns, whatever you're using, they make you go and rehearse for hours,
With
all
them.
day.
Okay.
Yeah, well, they're very safety conscious, as they have been here. They've been very safety conscious here throughout. That's what puzzles me.
Well, and
You
that's,
can have anything.
yeah, and I guess that's more like the question that I'm trying to get at is do you think someone would deliberately do
I
this?
can't imagine who would.
Okay.
People have
That's not
said,
the question.
6 people got fired from the crew yesterday because they said that the union, I don't want to get into a long diatribe about this, but the union, the International Association of Theatrical Stage Employees, IATSE is their name. IATSE is the union that controls all the actors. The Directors Guild controls the
Yahtzee.
director, the Screen Actors Guild, but all of the crew
Film
are
Actors
controlled by
Guild.
a contract in which those people voted to go on strike against the major studios, the major networks, the major streaming services, but not the independent film community. In fact, the IATSE rep for the New Mexico contract, because every state has different contracts, was instructed by his bosses in LA, he said, don't go on strike. The strike is against the majors, not against the indie people. And in the indie films, there's 6 different tiers, I
That's
believe,
true.
in terms of the contract, how much they're paid.
Okay.
A bunch of people on the set walked off anyway, even though they were told not to strike. They struck and they left.
And that was yesterday.
That was yesterday. That was their last day. And
Yeah, I
then the
was
question
gonna ask
becomes,
you
I
about
mean,
that.
somebody said, would one of them do? I don't even know. I have no idea.
Oh, now I've got my own
Well, and it was-
conspiracy
'cause that
theory,
was
okay?
mentioned to me is
So, the chick that's dead told them to strike yesterday. Today, she meets the end of a gun barrel, right? That's not the craziest conspiracy theory.
that it sounded like it was most of the camera crew that walked off set
Yes.
yesterday and quit, and maybe they got fired because they walked off. So the other thing is that the 2 major people, like you said, the director, those are the ones who got hurt. So with the camera crew and them quitting, and then your director getting injured, as well as Helena, that you don't think there's anybody that had any anger towards them or anything that would want to
I don't know
disrupt
the
the film?
details. I know that one guy, whose name I'm forgetting, he was a very heavy-set guy.
Okay.
He was and lovely to me. He
The
walked up to
fat
me and
man
said,
did it.
"Thank you for the things you posted on social media in support of the IATSE strike." And he said, "I'd like to talk to you privately." He said, "Because I've got some of my guys sleeping in their car."
Mhm.
Many of the crew here, because it's shooting in Albuquerque and Santa Fe, or Albuquerque based, they live there. So the drive time is kind of common knowledge in the business that the unions in New Mexico signed very bad deals in order to attract movie shooting here. They wanted to grow the crew base here. So they signed the deal that wasn't a good deal, and that gave them a 60-mile commute radius. So that means if you lived within 60 miles of the set, you come to work and you don't get paid any, you have to drive home, they don't hotel you. They don't know in New York it's 30 miles, they have to put you up in a hotel and give you gas money, and there's a whole other complicated contract in the more expensive markets. Here, this guy would tell me, he turned to me, he goes, "My guys are sleeping in their car." Now, I went to the AD and the producers and I asked them, "What's up with that?" He said, they knew what the contract was. We signed the IATSE contract in New Mexico. And then in the middle of shooting, they decided they wanted to rewrite their deal. They said, "Put us up in hotels." Now, if you put the camera crew up in a hotel, all the other crafts are gonna ask you to put them in a hotel. We don't have the budget for that. That could be $75,000, $80,000, you know what I mean?
Who was that man?
Who?
The one you said that.
I forget, like I said, I forget his name.
Okay.
But anybody there can tell you who the big heavyset guy was, who was on.
Yeah,
the
it's Alec
crew
Baldwin.
yesterday. He didn't come to work today. But my point is that if I'm standing there in a rehearsal, I'm thinking to myself, could someone actually believe that in the rehearsal I would actually aim the gun and hit those two people? That's far-fetched. Or do they want just somebody to get hit? Or, I keep telling myself more likely, was it an accident? Where there was a large quarter load makes noise, but it's kind of a puff compared, but a half load could shoot a projectile if something was stuck in the barrel. And like I said, the thing that is, I think, going to answer all your questions is, what's in Joel's shoulder? Is it a rock or is it a bullet?
I could actually show that to you,
What?
what was in his shoulder. We did.
Did they
pull
take it out?
So you being on set for so many years, like you said, have you ever seen, you said you've never seen anything come out before.
Wait a
I've
second.
never
have
seen, no, I've never seen a
Wait a
projectile.
second. Let's go back
Right.
here a second.
Is it a rock or is it a bullet?
I could actually show that to
Oh, this is gonna be good. This is gonna be good.
you,
What?
what was in his shoulder. We did.
Did they
pull
take it out?
So you being on set for so many years, like you said, have you ever seen, you said you've never seen anything come out before.
I've
So
never
have
seen,
you-
no, I've never seen a projectile come out, no.
Right, so.
But do you
so
know what the bullets look like
Would
that?
it have looked something like this if anything did ever come out of something?
Look at Baldwin.
Does that make
Okay,
sense?
no, okay.
Oh.
So, okay, let's backtrack a little bit.
Let me say this.
Hold on.
That's a
What
bullet.
was that little side eye he did?
That's a bullet.
That's a bullet.
So as I
Right.
suspected, somebody put a live round in the gun. If that's a bullet that was pulled out of his shoulder, then someone loaded a live round into the gun I was holding.
So now, let me ask you, did you see the rounds that were
covered his eyes.
in the gun?
No,
Have you seen, throughout the whole time on set, have you seen what they look like?
I've watched her load and reload the gun many times, many times.
Have you seen the bullets themselves?
Well, meaning yes, meaning you see sometimes the head is the casing and the head is a pinched, it almost looks like a dumpling. It's closed at the top, there is no piece. And
Wait
you-
a second. Earlier, remember he said it was like a piece of clay or something that disintegrates. And I remember I made a whatever because I was like, yeah, they're just closed like what he just now said, a dumpling. Matter of fact, you can go buy 22 blanks at Home Depot for nail guns.
You put the cosmetic round in when you know you're gonna see. If I hold the gun, if I say to you, what is your first name again?
Alex.
If I say to you, "Alex, don't you move a muscle, darling, I'm gonna blow you," and the camera shoots me, you wanna see the material in the cylinder, the cosmetic, clay-based, non-bullet round.
So can you describe to me what those clay-based rounds look like?
They look like a bullet.
What colors?
the gray, they look exactly like a bullet, brass head and a brass base, packed with something, I'm assuming, and then the head looked like a bullet. So cosmetically, you see that in the cylinder. The other rounds you shoot have it's the base with the pin. This comes up, and this comes up, and it's a round like this. And if you look at
So
the
he's trying to
top,
describe a lead
if you're
bullet.
looking down at the bullet with the not the pin down here, the top of it. If you look at it's folded in like almost like
Yeah, it's like a
like a dumpling.
like a pinch
It's
type.
Exactly, it's like a folded up thing, and the char and all that does is goes boom.
So if I
There's no projectile there.
if I showed you a couple rounds, would you be able to tell me if they're the ones that look like they were on set?
Probably, if that, I think I could probably tell you which
No,
were
why is
rounds
this
that were
ending
put in
now?
cosmetic,
Okay.
and which were the rounds that were flash rounds.
All right. Give me just a
Forgive me,
second.
because I'm very upset right now.
I know.
Oh, now
I
he's
know.
really
I'm saying, so
upset.
please take
Now he's really
my
upset.
weirdness about this. That's what.
Oh, come on. All right, there's got to be a part 2 here. Where's part 2? Can't do live crime. Crud. So, hold on. Let's just talk about this. Let's not even worry about part 2, because we all know how it's going to be. It's just going to be more drama. But, like, right now, what do we have? Let's go back. What do we have? So he spoke that whole time, and let's see, let me look real quick. That is what is that? It is 35 minutes. For 34 minutes, he was talking about all about movies. He's talking all about how they do it, how they have these dummy rounds, and how they drilling holes in the side of the case, and and he was like, oh, there was something wedged into that, like a rock. Unless you can somehow get the bullet, get the projectile out, and unless you can somehow do it, it's called surgery, Alec. Come on, man. The guy's in surgery right now. And then when they said, well, what if we could show you actors feel they don't think? Dragon Man, yes, that's right, they do. His whole thing is about feelings. And so, anyway, he's trying to push that narrative. He's trying to push that way and trying to get them to think in a direction. He's trying to project them into this one area. He's like, don't look at the man behind the curtain. Don't pay any attention to him, right? And then when they said, all of a sudden, he went into such graphic detail about everything. And then once it was that was a bullet, he's like, oh. And then he side eyes over to the other investigators, like, I have to tell you I'm upset because I'm not acting like it. Yes, okay, ID Crisis. Yes, that's what I was thinking. Now, Urban Dictionary has the Texas Heart Shot. They said it was like deer hunting. You have an amateur who's never done it before, something like that, and they shoot like in the, rear end, and anyway, it ends up being a perfect kill. So yeah, it's the same thing. Yes, it is, and that happens. ID Crisis, you're right. I mean, that happens. Bullets. The argument about bullets is one that will never end, and the only thing you can do is just stick with, Newton's. I'm a Newton guy, not an Einstein guy. Principles on physics, and if you want to know power, and there's how they do it. What they call it, stopping power. That's one of the shooting sports. They have a mathematical thing that they do. Knockdown power, because it's for knocking down pins, I think is what it is. And I know the internet got all excited about a while back. I think that knockdown power meant like being able to knock down a bad guy. No, it has to do with competition shooting. But anyway, there's a mathematical equation they come up with, and it's pretty solid. But that's the only way you can really, if you wanted to do like the power of a certain cartridge. Other than that, I mean, dude, all bullets are magic. I mean, it's weird. Look at the Kennedy bullet. I've really been following that lately. There's like no deformity of the Kennedy headshot bullet. I don't even know where they got the bullet itself out of. But I just recently saw it, and I was reading over the case and everything. I saw the autopsy reports, and it's so weird. It's so bizarre. But yeah, if the Kennedy thing doesn't get you, nothing will. As far as like what bullets can do. But yeah, so this guy, he's been talking for 34 minutes. And then all of a sudden, there's like, we have the bullet. We have what was taken out. And he's like, you do? And then now he's talking about the blanks being like dumplings. It's a bizarre thing. Now, here's my problem is why is there only one? They don't have the second part up yet. Where is, let's take that off. All right, let's see if I scroll down. Do you see any of this? No. Wait a second. Who's this person? Let's just go to their page. That makes sense. Where is the Alec Baldwin interview? That was yesterday. That's interesting. They don't have... Oh, they got that one that we just saw. But they don't have... Oh, they got him in the hospital. But they don't have part 2 of in the room. And that body cam footage was great. Alec Baldwin interview footage. Yeah. Let's see here. Let's see. Well, let's watch this one.
For them.
That's the cops. Okay. That's the cops when they arrive. Yeah, they're there. There's the ambulance they're loading her up in. There's that cart Alec was talking about. See that? That's the director. All right. I didn't have it. Oh, man, I'm so stupid. I'm so stupid. Sorry, guys. Hang on a second. Let me show you real quick. Okay, so here we are. This is part 2. Or not part 2. This is just the police body cam footage. So, like, this is... some of the people that are around there. There is... where'd he go? All right, let's see here. So right there, they're at the ambulance, and there's the director. They showed what? Crud. Showed that card he was talking about, and I apologize. I thought, you guys, see, this is why I need 2 screens. Even then it wouldn't work. Somehow it would be then StreamYard wouldn't support 2 screens. Anyway, I don't know why the body cam. Let's see if I go to Law and Crime, what it says. Let's see here. Show more. Baldwin has denied responsibility, full interview. All Baldwin, shooting interview. Let's see here. Maybe we can get away with a little bit of it. They'll strike me down, I know. They will. I just want to kind of finish that, though. Where is... if we go up here... let me go ahead and flip it. Oh, cinema mode. Didn't flip it, did I? There we go. Ooh, look. Even that stuff's all backwards now. We are good to go. You know, I'm going to do one further here. Let them put up a big... oh, ID Crisis, you're awesome. Look at your... I listened to the War Room official podcast. Cops, military, first responders telling stories. Great one about a guy who got shot in the head. He got back up because the bullet rode the inside of his skull. Oh! Change my title. You want to do it right now? Or live? Let's see here. What should my title be? Share safe. Yeah, let's take this out. A brutally honest review of the Alec Baldwin tape. One interview. So you tell me I don't do stuff for people. Police interview. Police interview. Look at that. Only for Sully would I go to that. Change all that right there. All right, change is saved. Okay, now I need a comment. That's almost a big enough comment. Oh, I need a little bit thicker one. A little bit thicker than that. Dragon Man. Maybe we'll go back to ID Crisis. All right, there you go. That covers up all their stuff. Let's see them try to bring us down now. They're not going to ever see this video. Let's see here.
Either of those chairs, I thought he was coming with you, so, yes.
We were right here.
Well, and it was, because that was mentioned to me, is that it sounded like it was most of the camera crew that walked off set.
Yes.
Yesterday and quit, maybe they got
We're
fired.
a little bit past that, aren't we?
So, the other thing is that the two major people, like you said, the director, those are the ones who got hurt. So, with the camera crew and them quitting, and then your director getting injured, as well as Helena, you don't think there's anybody that had any anger towards them or anything that would want to...
I don't know the details. I know that one guy, whose name I'm forgetting, he was a very heavy-set guy.
Okay.
He was and lovely to me. And he walked up to me and he said, "Thank you for the things you posted on social media in support of the IATSE strike." And he said, "I'd like to talk to you privately." He said, "Because I've got some of my guys sleeping in their car."
Mm-hmm.
Many of the crew here, because they're shooting in Albuquerque and Santa Fe, or Albuquerque based, they live there. So the drive time, it's kind of common knowledge in the business that the unions in New Mexico signed very bad deals in order to attract movie shooting here. They wanted to grow the crew base here. So they signed the deal.
Am I in the right area
when I gave them
for
a
this?
60-mile commute radius.
Do I need to go further forward?
If you
Further
live
forward?
60 miles of the set, you come to work, you don't get paid any, you have to drive home, they don't hotel you. They don't know in New York, it's 30 miles, and they have to put you up in a hotel and give you gas money, and there's a whole complicated contract in the more expensive markets. Here, this guy was telling me, he turned to me, he goes, "My guys are sleeping in their car." Now, I went to the AD and the producers, and I asked him, "What's up with that?" He said, "They knew what the contract was. We signed the IATSE contract in New Mexico." And then in the middle of shooting, they decided they wanted to rewrite their deal. Watched her load and reload the gun many times, many times.
Have you seen the bullets and stuff?
Well, meaning yes, meaning you see sometimes the head is the casing, and the head is a pinched. It almost looks like a
All right,
dumpling.
there we are. Now we're on the right
Closed
thing.
at the top. There is no.
Right? You said fast
And
forward.
you put the cosmetic round in when you know you're going to see. If I hold the gun, if I say to you, what is your first name again?
Alex.
If I say to you, "Alex, don't you move a muscle, darling, I'm going to blow you." Anyway, the camera shoots me. You want to see the material in the cylinder, the cosmetic, clay-based, non-bullet round.
So can you describe to me what those clay-based rounds look like?
They look like a bullet.
What colors?
They're gray. They look exactly like a bullet. Brass head and a brass base, packed with something, I'm assuming, and then the heads look like a bullet. So cosmetically, you see that in the cylinder. The other rounds you
still
shoot
behind, aren't I?
flash. But if you want to have cosmetic rounds that flash, if you want me to
All right, hang on a second. Let's go back to where
Probably.
she leaves. There
I
it
think
is.
I could probably tell you which were the rounds that were put in cosmetic.
Yeah, because she has we put several ones in there. Okay, that's why there's not a second part, because she
Forgive me, 'cause
leaves.
I'm very upset right now.
I know.
But if you know what I'm saying, so please don't forgive my weirdness about this. That's what came out of Joel's shoulder.
Yes,
Joel.
yes. And the reason why I was showing it, because you said you have experience, but you're saying when this does come out, it's supposed to just puff and not really be
usually,
a hard object.
if there's any chance that when you look at the gun, so here's the barrel, here's the sight, and the cylinders around it has the holes.
Mm-hmm.
We're just looking at the gun, the camera's eye view.
This one, yeah.
When you look at the cosmetic rounds go in, they have no flash.
Camera's eye view.
But if you want to have cosmetic rounds that flash, if you want me to hold the gun, you see the bullets, and I shoot, that material is often a clay or, fabricated material that just disintegrates, destroys the powder.
And today,
And the
and
round that you put that you don't see, you're not seeing down the barrel, you're shooting, those are the flash rounds, which have the top that looks like it's like folded kind of things like this, where it looks like someone's packed it and closed it.
but specifically today was supposed to be either empty or the ones that don't even make anything. any
Cold
sound.
rounds.
So cold round, the one with the hole in it.
Yes.
And it's not supposed to puff up or powder off, like you said, nothing.
Halls told me that when he checked the rounds with her, they were all, had the holes in them.
Halls
And
told me this.
sometimes he told, when I wasn't familiar with this, they'll take the round, and if it's a cold round, it'll have the holes, and inside will be BBs, and you shake it.
Yeah.
When you
we
shake the
listened to
BB,
that.
it's an acoustic thing to tell you that's a cold round.
Okay, and, yeah, that's what. it was
Inside
supposed
this
to be.
base is stuff that rattles, little BBs that rattle. So you pick a gun, that's a cold round, that goes in the gun.
Okay, and that's what you were supposed to have today.
I was supposed to have an empty gun,
Empty.
or when we shot, for the rehearsal, empty.
Mhm.
And then when we shot, the flash rounds and everybody preps, and then she says, "Hot gun," she announces it, and the crew gets ready.
But you didn't even get to that
I
part today.
rehearsed with a hot gun. Now,
But you were supposed to be cold.
well, it was supposed to be cold or empty, but now, not only did I rehearse with a hot gun, I rehearsed with a gun that had a bullet inside. If that's what came out of his show, this is the most horrifying thing I've ever heard in my life.
Well, so, yeah, and that's why I wanted to make sure that anytime that you've shot a hot gun, you've never seen anything like this come out before.
Never.
Because I'm not familiar with prop guns. I could
Never.
tell you what a projectile looks like, and that does
Well,
look
let me
like a
ask you this.
projectile.
But, see, that's a bullet.
Mhm. Yeah, so that's what comes out of.
Well, I think the question,
bullet.
I mean, I don't want to tell you your job, but I'm so sick about this, so sickened by this, that a bullet passed through this girl's body. She's in critical condition in a hospital right now, and I fired the gun. And if you don't think I feel really, really shitty about that, I do, but the question becomes, to ask Hannah, did you commingle live bullets? What they call live rounds. When they say live round, that's a bullet that a police officer would shoot.
Mhm.
Where did that come from?
Yeah.
In her kit.
Yeah.
She commingled live rounds with dummy rounds or movie rounds.
And we asked her that, do you know where you guys get the rounds from, who orders it? Or you don't have any part of any of that?
Who, me?
Yeah, like.
That's her, yeah.
All familiar, okay.
All I know is when we come to the set, you hand me a cold gun, nothing's in it. We rehearse. Then we load the gun with the flash rounds and we shoot. That's it, every time. We've never had a problem.
So you didn't even get to that second part of, you'll hand it back. I do want to ask you about Dave Hall. I understand sometimes she'll hand the gun off to Dave Halls and then he'll hand it to you. Did that happen at this incident?
I don't recall him ever doing it.
It was Hannah handing it.
I never recall. I recall that when we would stop the scene, if we finished a scene, Halls is someone who is assumed by his position to be authorized to do nearly everything.
Mhm.
So if I was doing a scene with you and we finished the scene, or we finished your angle and we were going to turn around and shoot my angle, when they say turning around, that means it's time to go to the bathroom, go get a bottle of water, go get a coffee, go smoke a cigarette. We have a break. And if I was going to go to the bathroom, I'd hand Halls the gun.
So Samantha, was that her name? The other cop? She's gone,
She wasn't
right?
around. If she was,
Or
if
she's
she was
back.
awake, she'd be at the shop. They
That was
give
weird.
it, and Hall's the guys, they give it to her. Give this to Hannah.
So sometimes you would hand the gun to Hall, but you never, he never handed the gun to you.
No,
Okay.
no, never.
But you would hand it to him.
I
with
passed
the
it
gun.
off to him if she was not on site, and I was gonna run to use the bathroom, I was gonna buy it. That's very typical. Halls is empowered. in
This
all
bothered
things
Rakita last
to-
night. What's he
to
hiding
hand
over
in the
here?
weapon. He's the
Why is
only
his
other
shirt
person
so
to
tight?
hand it after we were done. After we were done. Whether it was a cold gun with no things, or flash rounds, I'd say. Hot gun, hand it to him. Well, usually not. Because usually it was a hot gun. If it was a hot gun we were gonna shoot, she'd be right nearby.
Okay.
If I hit, because other times we have rubber guns. We have fake guns.
Oh, now we have rubber
And
guns.
specifically, sorry.
Boy, he's changing everything
right
around
before
since
this incident.
they showed him that they have the bullet. Notice how he's like
Wasn't-
changed everything?
Hannah handed me the gun.
Okay, it wasn't anybody else but Hannah.
No, Hannah handed me the gun.
And she specifically said.
I believe she said cold, I don't recall exactly.
Where, so this is I'm not that great of a drawer, but this is the church, this is the front.
Another good river drawer. You gotta be better than
Yeah,
Alec.
her here, yeah.
Cross
With the
is, where did she hand it, the gun to you? Inside where
Oh, yes,
the
because I
camera
was
was?
seated.
You were,
In other words, this is a scene in the church where you come in and there's a lot of disarray. There's benches tipped over and here was one bench that was upright and sturdy. Some of the other benches are prop benches, so they can smash easily with explosives. You
Prop
want the
benches?
gunfire to have fake benches. They're made of a lighter wood, so it put
Balsa
charges
wood.
inside. So when you shoot, cinematically, when a guy's shooting a gun and you turn around and see what he's shooting at, you're gonna see charges that are buried inside. They put a little material behind, you're gonna see boom, 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 it sees flash. That is a prop bench. There were prop benches around that they were eventually gonna put, today, we're gonna put squibs in to have them blow up. And this was a real bench, a heavy, because if you sat on the prop bench, it would break.
mhm.
This was a live bench, and I sat here, and the camera was here, and she was here, and Joel was here.
She being Helena?
Helena.
Okay, and
I'm here, on the bench, sitting. I'm right here to the right, I'm all the way to one side. They wanted me to go all the way to that side. And the camera guy was here, he's behind. Hannah was here, Joel was here. Where the other people, I believe that the script room was always in that corner, so she could see the actual.
I mean, all this stuff he's drawing can be
Shot
used against him.
the gun away from the cameraman. I always never aimed against the camera. I turned and I went like this just to aim the camera, and she was there, and the gun went off, and she just went right on the ground.
What about the armorer though, or was she?
She's outside.
Okay.
she hands
She
you
comes
the
in,
gun,
she hands me the gun all the time.
and then what?
If there's any shooting involved in the scene, she always hands me the gun.
Never has Dave handed you the gun?
Never.
Okay. And then she goes back outside?
She waits
when you-
outside, because she just can't be there sitting there, didn't want to see. Sometimes in the scene, there's reflections, like, you see. So you only need the necessary crew in there for shooting the camera. Everybody else leaves, and as soon as they cut, they come running back in.
Okay. Real quick before she shows you that, the other thing I wanted to know, and it's probably helping when she does show you those around. Have you, in your experience, ever been told that you're not supposed to cock the gun?
No.
No, you're okay.
He wanted
to.
me, he
You're
wanted me to
allowed-
cock the gun in the
Okay.
scene.
Okay.
He wanted that as part of the scene. He said, "Okay,
I mean,
take the
those
gun
chicks,
out,
man, they
turn
listen
and
to him. They
cock
let him
it
just
to the-
talk for 40
to the-
minutes.
To the right.
And then they brought
my
one
left,
question, everything
their
changed, and
right,
then Alice was like, "Did I ever tell you that
when
you're
I'm
not
sitting
supposed to
here,
cock the gun?"
And you're the camera. We don't talk about my left, we talk about camera right. Camera right, we only talk about the camera. Camera right is my left. So if I'll say to you, where do you want me to aim the gun? They'll say, camera right. So I'll aim the gun to my left.
Okay.
So I always aim the gun away, but she was there. And in the rehearsal, he wanted me to pull out the gun and cock the gun. And if you're assuming you have a cold gun, there's no problem.
Right.
And again, a cold gun I'd had, every time we've used guns in this film the last 2 weeks, we've never had one problem.
Why is
Never.
he defending himself?
Okay.
Yes, you
And-
need a
and
lawyer
you-
101. That's exactly what this should be called.
After the gun was shot, who did you hand the gun to?
I don't remember.
Okay.
I don't.
remember. Everybody freaked out.
I think so. Okay.
It was one of those two people, Halls. I don't really know, I would imagine, well, there's the dummy there. So that's probably a dummy round. and there's no drill in this, that might be a flash round. And as I said,
So flash rounds do not have holes.
well, the flash round has a charge in here,
Okay.
of powder, different sizes. Like I said, quarter, half, full load.
Oh,
and a wad
wow.
in there to pack
Oh,
it in,
wow.
pack it tightly.
Okay.
So when you hit this pin, it explodes. Now, sometimes it has this material there. If you have the
Oh my
cosmetic
gosh.
feature through the gun and then shoots,
He's not an
but
expert.
often it has. There's the BBs in there. This is a dummy round.
BB's
No
in
dummy
there.
round, there's that. My point is that very often when you give me, when she's loaded the gun with rounds for us to go hot and flash and shoot, they've had that creased, folded head, the dumpling head, as we say.
For 30 minutes, you didn't
They
mention
almost
that.
never look like this for the flash. Only when the camera sees inside the cylinder do you put those in.
But those are both dummy rounds.
That's a dummy
To your-
round. That's a dummy round. That's what they taught me.
Yeah.
That's what they taught me.
I'm not an expert.
I'm not an expert.
Jeez,
Jeez, I just said that.
I doubt that. I'm sure I always say to my wife, I think I should get a gun. I'm getting a little nervous about the word. I was like, no, gun with my house. I got 6 kids.
Oh.
I'm 63 years old, and I have an 8-year-old, a 6-year-old, a 5-year-old, a 3-year-old, a 1-year-old, and an 8-month-old will be here as a surrogate.
Oh
my
my
daughter.
gosh.
I'm 63 years old, and we had 6 kids in 7 years. So my wife was always,
That's weird,
she was
dude.
born in the U.S. but raised in Spain. She's like, Alec, we will not be having any guns in the house. No. But
Okay.
I believe that's a dummy round.
So you call this a flash round, right?
No. Flash round means there's a charge in there. No charge in there, if you hear that sound.
Okay.
No charge in there if you see that.
So what happens
So I
when
was
you shoot
told.
these? Or to what you?
You put them in there cosmetically with nothing in them so that through the cylinder you can see that.
Okay.
You can see in the cylinder whether the cylinder is empty,
Or
and they look bad.
Well, they set him up,
Whether there's
man.
a round in there, so they put a cosmetic round in.
By the way, this is a thing, show you guys. They always push him into a corner here because that makes the suspect nervous. It's like, you're being pushed into the corner. You also see the mirror glass here, so somebody, because Hollywood's taught us that there's always someone behind this mirror glass. There's probably that's where they have Coke machines. Who knows what they have back here? But anyway, you're in this corner. The light's coming down. There's all the shadows are kind of straight down, so there's a lot of overhead lighting. It's good lighting, so it's not fluorescent. So it's probably getting a little hot in there too. This is like a guava ball girl over here. And so, these chicks, they got a lot of stuff on them. They're breathing hard. He's breathing hard. Nobody here's a real cardio person.
The chamber. They
That
load
room's
the
getting
gun,
hot.
Close it, and then I hold the gun. You see the things in there. A flash round would be like what crimped is the word. A
Yeah.
crimped round with a charge inside, and that one shoots, and there's no projectile.
I drag him. Ever hear of a gun safe?
I'm really challenged whether they ever see. I doubt. Sometimes they
Yeah,
have these.
I want that
maybe they
too.
both, but that's the clay material.
Volstorm.
But usually, 99% of the time when we shot a flash round, it was the crimped thing, and you don't see inside the cylinder. So you're the camera, and I'm not pointing where you can see it. I'm off a little bit, and all you see is the flash.
do you know what would happen if you shot one of these? Have you ever had experience with that?
Nothing.
Nothing happens with them?
There's no charge in them.
Okay.
This
Did you see
indicates.
the bottoms?
Right, well, sometimes they have the pin to create something. I'm just saying, when I look at this.
Now
when
he's
I go
getting
like
dumb.
this- Now, by the way, there could be a charge in there. And that charge and those BBs could come out.
BBs?
I
No,
don't
there's
know- I
BBs
don't know,
inside.
But it's whether this rattling indicates that it's an empty, a cold round. That's obviously a cold round, because that's where the gunpowder would be in here.
Mm-hmm.
That's a cold round.
That's where the gunpowder would be in here.
This I'm assuming is a cold round, because they go like this to tell themselves it's a cold round. I believe, please don't take my word for it,
Just in your experience.
Please don't take my word for it. So now all of a sudden he's, okay, is this narcissism?
Cold rounds.
Because he's like, please don't take my word for it. He doesn't realize that he's a suspect. Does he really think he's teaching these cop chicks? I mean, look at this, man. I already checked out. He's carrying Glock 17s, it looks like. They're Glocks. They're full-size Glocks. So 17s, or it's, what's the 40, 22? It's the Glock 22 is the 40. Who knows, man? They may have like a Glock 20 or Glock 21 do a full-size 10 millimeter, 45. Glock 31, the 357 SIG. These chicks may be packing some speed demons in there, going at 357 SIG. But they're full-size handguns, is what I'm saying. And he's over there acting like, oh, hey, don't take my word for it. I'm no expert on this. But let me tell you how it does. He's telling them all about firearms and all this other stuff. To try to make it, he's just, I don't know. I think it's weird. And I understand that this is a Hollywood guy, but it's just weird to me.
And I was told by Halls that when they took the gun away and looked at every round inside the gun was a cold round, except the one round was not only a hot round, but it was a live round, it was a bullet. If you're telling me that that's what came out of his shoulder, there's something really, really scary going on here.
Well, and I think that's what she was trying to
It's the
ask,
one-armed
because
man.
Anytime, well, you said these are cold ones, but the ones that are not cold, the quarter,
Right.
those.
They have the crimped
But they
head.
have.
Have you ever seen anything like that ever come out on set?
No, it's not possible.
Not possible,
It's
okay.
not possible.
Yeah, they don't have a head.
I'm saying
They don't have there's no projectile.
there's no projectile, okay. So then, and these shouldn't,
Somebody put a live bullet in the gun.
But that contradicts what he said earlier about maybe there's a rock in there. Maybe there's a rock because the crimped head, the blanks, there's still, that's what they use on nail guns. Okay? You can go buy blanks. You buy 22 blanks at Home Depot or Lowe's tomorrow. And that's what they use for starter pistols and nail guns. You buy them by the 100. And so you're putting that in there and shooting the nail out. There's no bullet in a nail gun. Okay? It's so when he was originally saying maybe there was a rock in there or something, so it plugged up the barrel, but that was impossible because I kept seeing her do this. Now he's saying that no, it's impossible because it's a crimped thing. He took 30 minutes before he ever talked about the crimped bullet casing.
separate or do that either?
No.
Okay.
Separate, no, probably.
Like, that shouldn't come out either, if it does?
If you did a flash round, that wouldn't be there.
Okay.
This is a cosmetic round only.
Right.
I point the gun, that's in the cylinder. When we shoot the gun, 99% of the time, it's a flash round that you don't see the cylinder. You're the camera, and I'm slightly off, so you don't see the
I'm sorry, we keep having you explain that, but it's just because there's different rounds.
Right. I'm saying this is a cosmetic
We
round.
keep having
to
you
my
explain
knowledge.
that.
And if there is, another question for you is there a cosmetic round, is there a flash round that has the head, which I believe they have, where you could shoot into the gun? Meaning, if the director wants you to aim the gun at the camera, they put a lucite screen up there, and I shoot the gun at you, you can see the bullets inside there, or they can go to do that with a computer.
Mm-hmm.
But if I put the
Now they're
thing
talking
and
about
then shoot,
CGI.
they'll have a round that has this on there that'll explode. But again, I've been told that is a clay material or something that just dissolves on explosion. No projectile comes out. On a flash round, it blows up, that you shoot on camera, quarter, half, full. There is no projectile unless some material is stuck in the barrel of the gun.
Okay.
And I thought for sure what happened was, did they not check there was a stone or whatever? Now again,
A stone.
I am speechless. We're here shooting, everything was going fine. Joel is my friend. I'm one of the producers on this movie. We've developed this movie together for 3 years. I left my wife and 6 kids in New York to come here for a month to shoot this movie, and I'm the one that shot the gun today that had a live bullet go through that woman's body and into his body. And I need to know, how did that happen? Where did that bullet come from? There are no live rounds in her kid, I'm told. Everybody is sitting around waiting for me to come here with all the sheriffs and all the people that were there, waiting for us to get ready to come and do this with you. but all they did was talk about that. So the speculation was like, in her kit, she doesn't have live rounds.
And that's what we were told, that's what, when we asked her, she said, there is no live rounds, not even in her kit, not on set, anywhere. So,
For that very reason.
we want to know the same question too. Yeah, how, if there's
She
not
says there's
supposed to be
no
any
live
live
rounds.
on set,
Then it comes down
how,
to
and who,
possible manufacturer defect.
or that.
That a
Manufacturer
cosmetic
defect.
round shot this projectile through them? Is that possible? Did you find that? I don't know.
It's possible,
Oh, it is. They told you that mechanically, if that's possible.
Yes.
I've
So
heard.
sometimes there is a charge in the end of not intentionally, but
A mistake.
The mistake was having
Today, I sit
Alec
here,
Baldwin.
and whether it was a
Alright, so I got kicked out. Are you guys still there? Let's see here. Wow, that was weird. Are you guys there? Alright. Let's see what happens.
all of a sudden complaining about a contract they've been working on it for quite a while. And some days we wrap, and they shoot nights. Those are tough. The men, the women have to go back to their homes and maybe Albuquerque and drive an hour. And it's 3 o'clock in the morning, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And we try to put the night shooting on the weekend, so when you wake up following day, you're off. And then and then some days we wrap very. The day before they walked up the job, we wrapped at 5:45 in the afternoon. We had a very reasonable day.
Very reasonable
easy
day.
6 o'clock. As I'm driving away with them, and I waved to that guy. The guy said, "I want to talk to you." The heavyset guy.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking,
The
"I'll see
heavyset
you
guy.
tomorrow," and I left because I want to get home.
Right.
I want to go call my kids before they go to bed in New York. And yesterday when I was driving, when I saw him, the sun was still out. We didn't shoot a day like we usually shoot till we lose the light.
Mhm.
That's why we're here, to shoot New Mexico.
Yeah.
To shoot New
Is the
Mexico?
star of
The
the movie.
scenery.
Yeah.
Okay. So do you, in your opinion, feel that this could have been an accident? Or do you,
I want to believe that, let me ask you this, because I don't know anything about this, because it was such mayhem when this happened.
Mhm.
Everybody was sick that this happened, because we didn't know, no one imagined, everyone thought she was hit by wadding or something, got burned. No one
Really?
presumed she was shot with a bullet, any projectile went through her body. No one even considered that wasn't possible. So the question is, the cartridge that came out, the cartridge is when they got the thing fired. Have you got that?
no?
So we have to send that.
Have you got the cartridge?
We don't analyze that stuff, we collect it, but then we send it to lab.
It was
to analyze.
collected. You have
It
it.
will be.
Right, that's all I'm saying, is that I'm wondering, what was that? What was in that?
As a
The
bullet,
measure- I don't know
dude.
anything about that. What are they, what ballistics? How can they measure what was in that?
Mhm.
How much of it?
And that's that'll all be done at the lab?
Yeah, I don't know. All I knew is the gun went off, she hit the floor, he hit the floor, he started screaming. He was in a lot of pain. She went into shock. She didn't talk.
Right.
Her eyes are rolling back in her head.
Yeah, she's
And,
dying.
And bad. And everybody's just getting really, and then they
Awesome.
do
Cover
CPR,
closers
and
is
everybody
here.
gets really panicky. And then people start wondering, what, did something, we assumed because the wadding can burn you.
Closers
that the
is your
come out
buddy,
and
Alec
it's
Baldwin.
bad, so very rarely, that could burn you. But remember, that often doesn't happen because there's always a cold gun on the rehearsal. By the time you leave, if the wadding comes out and it hits somebody, they're 20 feet away from you. In a gunfight, the crew is away. You're not shooting anybody, they're the crew. And my point is that when she went down, I thought, what was stuck? We all said the same thing. What was stuck in the barrel? Was something left. They didn't clean the barrel, which they always do, always. And was there a rock or something that went through her body? I didn't know about the passing through her body. I know she was hit. I didn't know
Yeah,
where.
you
and I
know
didn't
you
what
did.
was
You
like.
said it
But we
earlier.
all
You
knew
said
we
it
were
went
sitting
through her body,
outside,
ended up in his shoulder.
bullshitting for the last 2 hours while this went on. The aftermath, we assumed something was lodged in the barrel, was a projectile that went into her body. Now, when you tell me that's what came out of Joel's shoulder, that's a faulty round, which I've never heard of that before.
Okay.
Never. I've never heard of a theatrical flash round that was loaded into a gun that had a projectile that misfired, and that projectile.
Yeah,
came
I
out
like his
with
acting
a
too.
lethal round.
Well, you're named after him.
Normally, what you're going to
Coffee
have
is
a
for
round
closers.
that has this on it, it's the material that disintegrates when you fire the gun. Because if you take a flash round with gunpowder in it, whether it's a quarter, half, or full load, and you put a real bullet on, that's called a bullet. That's not a movie bullet. That's a bullet.
Yeah.
How did that happen? I mean, I'm the person that fired the gun. I'm dying to find out how that happened. How did that bullet that caused it end up in her kit?
Guys, please hit the subscribe button.
And again,
Let's get some
we're
numbers
not
rolling
gonna know
in.
if it was manufactured issues or someone did bring a live round until it's been tested and we look at the whole casing and projectile of it. So is there anybody on set that you would think want to cause a disturbance in the filming or have any issues with anybody on set, minus what happened, if you don't think...
No, in the movie business, there are always some whiny people,
Okay,
but not so much so that they want to shoot somebody.
so nothing...
I've never heard of anything like this in my lifetime, ever. I've made 75 movies.
So in the past couple of weeks that you've been on set...
Does it
there's
really?
Really
There's no one I would imagine would be capable.
ID
of
crisis?
something like this.
nothing that
I
out
know
of the
my phone
ordinary.
is usually.
But again, I think it's a critical point to me, which is,
Not a throw,
if
man.
this is a flash round, if there's a flash round, and you have a piece here, this piece has to be a certain type of language. If you want, as I've told you before, if you want the shot to go off and see that the cylinder cosmetically has a round in there, this is not the thing that was in Joel's shoulder.
But and then I want to come back to this. You said that when the gun went off, you experienced no kick.
Yeah, there was no recoil. There was no recoil, that I remember. I mean, literally, I'm holding the gun, and
Dude.
slowly pull.
That's why you don't talk
Bang, as soon as
to.
I cock it, but bang! And I jumped, I mean, you obviously, that's the last thing you think is gonna happen.
Mm-hmm.
Everything has been done, every breath.
The last
we
thing you
take
think is gonna happen until it does.
Is to obviate that possibility. And the gun went off, and, all I can think of, as I keep saying, is that I've never heard of a flash round that had a bullet on top, that had a projectile similar to what came out of Joel's shoulder. I've never heard of that in my life, ever. Never. Flash rounds normally have the crimping. There's a head on there, it's made of a special material. And in this scene, you were to look down the barrel of the gun.
I would drag you, man.
And shoot.
We'd be losing right now.
You have to ask them that, by the way. You have to ask, well, both of them were in the hospital now. But was it their intention? Because when I was given the gun, I'm assuming it's a cold gun with nothing in it. When it goes to time to shoot, are they going to see in the barrel that there's a gun there? Very often what they'll do is they'll have you put the cosmetic round in. I'll draw the gun up, I'll aim it, they cut. And cinematically they'll cut to the other guy going like this. Then they'll cut back to me with the flash round with no projectile. But all I'm saying to you is a theatrical round, a flash round with a bullet head, I've never heard of that in my life ever. Never, never, never. But that's a bullet. Less of a charge, but that's a bullet. I don't know what to say. I've never heard of this in my life.
What's your date of birth, Alex?
But you're not an expert, dude. You're not supposed to.
Do we have, is there someone that we can contact if we have other questions for you?
My assistant's name is Jonah,
Jonah,
Jonah. His last name is Fox.
Hex.
He told me that you wanted this correct.
Oh, he's got his card. Yes, after all that talking, I don't know what to say. I didn't think about how simple that is. True. I love it. He pulls out his attorney's business card.
Jonah, Foxman, Foxman.
This was the day of the shooting, closers. So this is the day that the girl died and the director got hit.
We have one more here.
What am I going to do?
You can go wherever.
Well, let me ask you this. Originally, and this is a very complicated, I mean, modest compared to what happened to them, but my wife and my whole family was scared.
Mhm.
And on Saturday, my daughter was going to be in the movie. They had a little part for my daughter.
The girl?
The 8-year-old.
Oh,
She was so excited to go. And now the question is, Joel's not going to go back to work for a while.
Right.
I doubt he'll be back to work in a week or two.
Okay.
Who knows what they're going to do? They're going to get the shit suit out of him.
I think his was a shoulder. He might, I don't know, it's up to him how he feels and stuff on.
But I'm sure that there are so many insurance issues for them.
There's gonna probably a halt on
They're in a lot
it.
of trouble, insurance-wise and civil action-wise. All I'm saying is I told them I would stay here tomorrow. My family's not going to come now.
Okay.
I begged them to come, and my wife wants to cancel the trip. She says she thinks it's just a weird energy.
A weird
I
energy.
told the producers that I would stay tomorrow in case anybody else, their insurance investigators, anybody, their lawyers wanted to talk to me. I'll make myself. And then Saturday, I was going to fly home to New York.
Oh, wow. I need crisis had a liar comment.
Did you need me to stay here beyond Saturday? I will do whatever you tell me to do.
Okay, so I think.
I feel better knowing ID's a moderator. I really do.
We're going to go and process the scene. If there's any else that comes up, and that we need to contact you, you said you'll be here till Saturday? Or you
As
want
of
to
now,
fly?
as of now, I'm going to stay tomorrow to make
Mhm.
myself available to the insurance investigators and their the production's attorneys.
Yeah.
To make myself available, they've told me they're not sure they need to talk to me. I'm going to stay tomorrow and get on a plane Saturday to go home. And God knows when we're going to come back. It might be months.
Might be months.
So we can contact
Yes,
you.
as
I
long
might
as
not
you have
ever. I may be a
this
run.
number,
He
not
just admits
going
he's
to
a
change it.
runaway.
What I'm trying to say is that I'm going to leave
You're
on
okay.
Saturday unless you tell me not to.
You're okay.
If you tell me to come back in, I'm going to do whatever you tell me to do. My wife wanted me to come home.
Yeah, so as long as we have a way of contacting you
Jonah.
is what we need to do to get a hold of you, okay? But I
Jonah
think
Hex.
you, unless tomorrow you hear something different from us, because right now we're going to go, we'll interview a
Talk to
couple
me
more
again tomorrow, I'll
people.
come here right away.
Okay, yeah.
Tell me what you want.
What's your work cell?
490,
Or your office, sorry?
that one I, don't know, I don't use it.
Okay, long.
So 2850, 490, 2850 is his work cell.
So the two of you are not best friends and you go bowling together and go to the movies together now?
Yeah.
Yeah, we.
Oh, look at Alec.
That's it.
He's like, y'all want to come to my hotel room?
I put her name on the back of that one, but my, office is
How do you
that
prefer to be
first one.
contacted? Office?
Yeah, let me put my, because mine's a different,
What's that?
yeah, I don't, my desk phone has issues, so I use my work cell phone all the time. And that's usually the best way to get a, that'll make sure. And then if I'm not at my desk either.
If
so-
I don't hear from you otherwise, I mean, I'll come in tomorrow if you
Yeah.
prefer, but if I don't hear from you otherwise, as of now, I intend to go home on Saturday.
So, yeah, and that's fine, because right
Okay, so
now,
now
we
he's just
still
going
have
home.
other interviews to do.
I don't know if
We're
there's anything else
doing
weird that he does.
processing. The processing at the lab might take longer, so you might even not hear from, if And there's
you
2
do.
years backlogged right now. So our
Would you want to talk to
investigation's
me
going on.
remotely?
If it comes to
Just
it,
tell me
we
what
will
to do.
figure it out at that point. But
So
right
Now my
now,
wife wants me to come on.
as of right now, you better
Go
listen
do your
to me.
ABC interview with George Stephanopoulos. All right, so I think we're done with him. I was done with him before he started. So what do y'all think? He's getting digits. I love this one, Sully. You're right. You had 2 new best friends. Yeah, Coffee for Closers has it right. I mean, isn't that sad? Okay, I mean, and it's like, I don't really know what role I want to play in watching that. But it just goes back to show. It's like, we're all sitting here. We're all saying, there's nobody here that is watching this with malcontent. You know, you're going to sit there and go out and do something because Alec Baldwin did. You're going to do the opposite of whatever Alec Baldwin does. But we're all sitting here watching this and we're going, why is somebody talking to the police like this? Now, imagine how it was. Just imagine how it was before the internet. What would you have done 20 years ago? What would you have done 50 years ago? What would you have done 100 years ago? And the thing about some of those cases are so monumental. The Scopes Monkey trial. Research that one. And that was like the trial of the century. Man, it's unbelievable. It took over Dayton, Tennessee. It's so weird to think about it. It was such a big deal. But anyway, yeah, I mean, back then it was like, oh yeah, I'm going to talk to the police. Well, as soon as the police understand, if I can just, let me say something, and people still probably think that. I mean, of course they do. Alec Baldwin thinks there's nothing wrong whatsoever. Yes, yeah, you're right. I mean, you just need to know. I like Sully. You started this. Let's get this over with. Volstorm's the best right there. Oh, hey, by the way, Volstorm, maybe is tomorrow night. Is there the earlier show going to be happening? I haven't gotten in touch with Diva. I'm sorry. I had rehab. Not the cool kind of rehab. Not the Hard Rock Cafe on Sunday by the pool in Vegas rehab. But physical therapy rehab. You two made me approve that? Really? That's weird. As a juror, I'd have to consider the notion of diffusion of responsibility, but if you... it's like, I won't care too much. Yeah, rehab's for quitters. Yeah, you know what? That's a good observation. I'm going to say that tomorrow. I got to go back tomorrow morning. So, yeah, I was glad today I got off early. And I was like, oh, cool. I can do some stuff. And I ended up watching the Batman. And then I got depressed. So, yeah, tomorrow night, Friday Night Live. And then we'll figure out what's happening with the before show, if there is a before show still. And yeah, it's just we're gonna rock and roll. It's the start of the weekend. It's good times. But anyway, what do you all think about the? You heard about the manhunt and those parts? Manhunt. Sully, there's a manhunt. Oh, wait a second here. Now, look, I know we're talking about Friday Night Live just for a second there, but I don't know anything about a manhunt. Okay, I mean, I'm not into that sort of thing. I'm kidding. No, I don't. I have no idea what you're talking about. I mean, there's always, I don't know. Someone's always escaped from prison, right? But so Alec Baldwin, though, let's just, what do you think? Let's finish that up. Just now that you've seen all this stuff, I think Dragon Ball hit it. It's like, if he fries, I just don't care. I don't think I care about any of it. I'm just so worn down and sick of it all that I just don't care. Is that sad? Have I become that person? I just don't care. I mean, call me a wambulance. Now, the fun, I know, I'm sucking the fun out of YouTube because the fun part is supposed to be, Sully says go to WJHL. I love that Sully knows more about what's happening in Tennessee than I do. TBI vehicle damage in Kingsport incident at the Sally Beauty Supply. Stage ready for Miranda Lambert concert. Is that like Miranda Wrights? Jonesboro has a COVID memorial. Hunger First, 60-acre fire burning on Roan Mountain. Uh-oh. What happened to my thing? Wait, are you guys there? Oh, that was weird. So I typed that in and it took my whole page away. Spence was taking a gun from anyone other than armor on movie set. People say you should check the chamber. Not now. It's not on WJHL. I disagree. Because for legal reasons on movie set, once you're handed a gun from anything. Yeah, I think you're right. Look at this one right here. Closers put up. So think of it as the chain of evidence, right? You get evidence, the police collect it, and then like that stuff, it has to be every step of the way. There has to be an accountability to it. It cannot be lost for a second. It cannot be missed, cataloged, or anything. If there's ever any little slightest hiccup that like it's not accounted for, that evidence is now tainted because you don't know somebody came in there and messed with it. Go back to look at the Kyle Rittenhouse stuff, right? All of a sudden, it's like, oh yeah, well, you enlarge stuff. There's a program that's adding pixels based on what an algorithm that the program's programmed for, to create the bigger image or the sharper image, whatever it is. It's got to be the same way with a firearm on a set. I mean, come on, man. There's so many millions of dollars at stake here. I mean, millions and millions of dollars here. Well, it's a multi-billion-dollar industry. So they're not going to let something stupid like this happen. Now, if this had happened on Aquaman or Pirates of the Caribbean or Star Wars or, with Thor, Love and Thunder, one of those, it would, I think it'd be much bigger headlines. I think this isn't getting bigger headlines because it's not that big of a movie. I think it's only Alec Baldwin's the only really named actor in it, right? Let's see here. They had an actor again. Yeah, and that's something else. Okay, again, Closers goes on. He's right. Because the actor, are you going to trust an actor to check the gun? Are you going to trust the actor to look at the bullets and be able to determine? I mean, you saw how he acted when they brought those two rounds in. So can you tell us which one is a dummy round? Which one's a live round? No, you could. He acted like an idiot. He's like, he still never proved it. They never answered it either. You notice he never answered. He never asked to say which one's which. Are they both live? The correct answer is all bullets are real bullets. All guns are loaded. I mean, it's just the way it is. Now, you're going to get the shot. Okay, I know we're like it's Alec Baldwin killed this person. there is. I mean, what? So okay, if Alec Baldwin got arrested for this, what would be his defense? I mean, it's not intentional, is it? Once you take out the intentional, if it's not an intentional killing of another, then it's got to be a negligent or reckless. Depraved heart's the fourth one. I was trying to remember the four things with murder, and depraved heart is the heat of passion. The walk in on, you shoot the wife and the boyfriend. What's your offense? Heat of passion. Okay, so what is Alec Baldwin's defense though? If he did this, is he reckless? Is he negligent? Or is there a transferred intent to somebody else? So that somebody else did something that was reckless or negligent that caused this. So then you got to show that there is that direct line. I don't know if they show a direct line or not, because Alec talks so much that he may have muddied the waters to say that it was the armorer's fault. And when you look at it, man, I don't know. I'd have to listen to some people, talk it out, do some research, some reading on it. I don't know. I don't know. All I know is that it's a cluster, man. It is a cluster that sucks, and it's a cluster suck. So, mostly in trying to force gross negligence, not having a control process of armor, side handling the weapons. Oh yeah, so closing what you're saying right there is that is actually that would be something to do with the him being a producer. Now hold on, let's take all this out for a second. Let's take the police part out and everything. Okay, there is a remedy for this, and it's in civil liability. That's what see. I'm a huge fan of civil court. I'm a huge fan of being able to sue for wrong. Not every. Why am I a fan of that? Because it takes the government out of it. Okay, it's your team and them and their team arguing, and a jury decides. The judge makes sure that both sides are fairly treated. I mean, civil remedy is the answer for everything. Like, if there's ever a libertarian response to something, it would be that you just open up the civil courts for stuff. I mean, a true libertarian would say that for murder, you don't need to have a jail system, you have a civil responsibility. And maybe you I don't know. I mean, you gotta put somebody in jail, right? But yeah, I mean, in this case, there's a civil remedy for it. But was justice served civilly? I think so. I think it can be served properly in this. I know it's like, well, how do you put a money amount on somebody? Well, if let's say if Alec Baldwin finished making this movie, and it came away with a $10 million profit. And that $10 million profit could go to the family of, what's her name? The chick that he shot. That's justice served. More so than Alec Baldwin being prosecuted, ending up in jail, not finishing the movie, and not being able to pay that $10 million. I mean, sitting there being happy that somebody else is in jail is not nearly as much of a remedy as being able to have a financial. In civil cases, you're trying to make the person whole. You have to pay for what the person's worth financially, what the person's worth emotionally, stuff like that. But anyway, I don't know. That was a weird interview. He's a weird guy, and I think one of the things that is fun about this, and it's fun about the Heard Depp case, is you get to see inside Hollywood. And who knew Depp was so normal? Right? But Alec Baldwin, I don't know. Is that how you expected him to act? I think maybe looking back on it, kind of. But yeah, that's it. So hey guys, don't forget tomorrow night, it's Friday Night Live. We're gonna have a great time. I'm gonna get some sleep. There may be an early show edition, so we'll have to check that out. Everything will be up. We'll be tweeting about it tomorrow, and try to do a couple of shorts videos, send those out. But yeah, thanks, Dragon Man. Good night's right. Good night to you guys. Sleep well. I gotta get a lot of sleep, you can tell. Sully's always great seeing you. It's great closer. Thanks for copping. Thanks for copping by, dude. I'm gonna go get something to drink. You guys, until later, you guys stay frosty, cover your six, and as always, Godspeed, y'all. Good night.